Looks like it's the season for inverter drive system problems. Next gentleman up is a Gree inverter. I believe he said it was a Gree Flex, somewhere in the 4.5 ton range. Said his power bill was fairly substantial the last few months of the winter, in the $400 to $500 range, and now that it's gotten a little warmer, he tried the air conditioning and it's not actually lowering the temperature in the house at all. Right off the bat, that signifies to me that, hey, we probably have a problem with the heat pump on the outside. It's either not running at all, could be very, very low refrigerant over the winter, relying on the heat strips to keep things warm. So it's probably a problem that's been persisting for a few months now, but we'll drop by and see what we can find for him. I don't know how well it'll come out on the camera, but you can kind of see how it glows a little bit. Now in here we kind of have some green-yellow phosphorescence. Leaky flare right there. The only thing we could really do about this is pump this whole unit down. I'll have to go get a recovery unit and drum, pump everything we have out of it, probably redo this flare. Out of curiosity, we'll just try to see. It's both tight. That's leaking right there. So that Schrader core is leaking. Decided to check the inside section too, just to be thorough. First thing I saw was this little spot here, which because of the rust, thought it might be water, but that is actually oil. Going back up our line set here, we see there's oil inside of it. Going all the way, there's a joint right there. But I also see some oil. Our tape's loose because the oil destroyed our bonding agent. So, yeah, I see oil on the inside of that. So we've also got a loose fitting in here. There's also this joint here. The joint actually looks pretty solid. We'll double check that, but we'll be redoing that flare as well now. Alright, we are done pumping it down. In this particular case, we only managed to rescue about 1 pound and 13 ounces. This particular unit just on the outside holds 13 pounds and 8 ounces. I believe tells us right somewhere, right there. So yeah, 13 pounds, 8 ounces. So it's lost a good bit. We'll get these flares taken care of, try to replace that Schrader core, and charge it back. It's 1.5 miles of threads. There's a little bit of scoring in there. I don't know if it'll make it out on the camera or not, but we'll try. But you can kind of see some markage there and a little bit of scoring. After thinking about it, what I actually think that is these stick type reaming tools. I bet that's where somebody tried to do a good job and tried to ream it out with one of those, but they inserted it too far, and when they did it, they just brought it right back out and just made us a nice little channel for refrigerant leak out of. So it looks like a case of somebody even attempting to do it correctly. They just missed the mark a little bit. So we're going to cut this flare off. If you do it slowly, like a little bit of a turn every rotation, you'll basically just slowly wear through. You don't end up with quite as much of a burr to start with. So we'll try to ream this out a little bit. The reason you do this is our flare tool is a little cone as well, and essentially it just tapers back to match the bottom of these fittings. And if you have any kind of burr along the top of it, it can rip the copper or make a little double layer right there where it won't make a good seal. So we'll continue to ream this out for a little while and make sure we have a nice good connection. And I'll probably, since the way this piping is going, I'll probably go outside and blow a little nitrogen back through it just to try to clear out any kind of debris I may have dropped inside of it once I'm done with this. Our cut looks pretty good. It's pretty well deburred. This is a flare tool. Basically, there's a little conical shape in here that matches the diameter of this nut, and also the outside diameter of this matches that nut. So when we press the copper into it, it just makes a nice, smooth, tight little fit. This one is 3/4, so we'll just get this guy on here and lock him in place. And this particular one, the cone is kind of off center, so it wobbles a little bit to help open it up gently, and also if there's any burrs, it helps deal with that as well. Once we get to the appropriate depth, it should start ratcheting like it is right now, so we know you're good. So we'll back it back out. So I think we're okay. Just meet it back up and put our flare nut back on. You always want to screw those nuts on by hand first, because you do not want to cross thread them, and being that it's brass, it is very easy to do that, so you don't want to just start with a wrench. Now the fun part is we are so low to the ground here, we cannot really get a Schrader tool in there to replace that Schrader. Luckily, I don't know whether it was a designing choice or a mishap that they actually did it in such a way that's helpful, because that rarely ever happens. We got some bolts here where we can just take this whole thing somewhat loose and see if we can move it back some. Alright, I got a little bit of movement. I don't trust it. Screw this guy back in there. Got that done, so we'll try to redo this flare on the opposite side here. That wasn't even tight. So we may not even, I'll probably redo it just out of principle, but that flare nut was almost completely loose. Fitting looks good. Yeah. Again, there's some burring around the inside of that, where upstairs it looks like they tried to use a flare tool or a deburr. This one, I don't know if they just did it badly or didn't do it at all. Looks good, so we'll go ahead and reattach it. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably just going to redo this guy as well, because I kind of don't trust it due to what we saw on the inside already. So we'll just do the same procedure again. That one's actually fairly loose too. And same thing, we want to put these on as tight as we can get them with our fingers first. Technically, I believe we should be using a torque wrench. Unfortunately, I do not have one on the service truck, so we are going to do the best we can. And if this does not work out when we do our leak test, then we may try to meet up with the install guys and procure a torque wrench. But got them on there. Let's try putting a little nitrogen on it. Putting our bubble solution on here. Put a little pressure on it, and we'll check the inside too and wait about 15 minutes to see if we see any micro bubbles forming or any pressure drop. Do see a little bubbling here, so we'll try to tighten that up a little bit, and hopefully that solves our issue. If not, we may have to redo that flare again. That's the joy of flares. So I believe we're good, but sometimes that's all it takes. Is it's a copper to brass fitting, so it's almost like molecularly, the way I understood it was it's close enough together that as you apply force to it, the molecules almost smear together and create a gas-proof seal. So sometimes if you get it tight and it leaks, don't immediately freak out. Just loosen it some and tighten it again. And a lot of times that will be your seal right there. So we'll watch this for a little while longer. It's been holding the same pressure, 129.2 for, as I say, 15-20 minutes now. And it's all soapy but no bubbly. So we'll go ahead and release the nitrogen pressure and start our vacuum. So our vacuum held, and we are just weighing in the charge. This unit calls for 13.8 ounces. The coil on the inside said it came factory charged with 0.55 pounds. So if we've got 13.8, 0.55, do a little math, it should be what, 14.35 pounds, 30.355 times 16 would come up with, so 14 pounds, about 5.6 ounces, 5.5 ounces, something like that. So we'll charge it up. We probably won't be able to ambiently pull in that much, but we'll get it close, and then we'll start the system and run it by superheat to get the exact charge we're looking for. Our short cycle delay finally ended. We were able to get about 10 pounds in there ambiently. It calls for 4 pounds and about 6 ounces more. So we're going to let this run for a little bit, stabilize out. We have a little bit of subcooling already showing, and then we'll see about topping this guy off. Being that this is an inverter drive too, it is also slowly going to ramp up on this particular one, so we'll give it a little bit of run time and slowly trickle in some refrigerant until we get to where we want to be. Right, we're ready to wrap this guy up. Running approximately a 40, 45 degree, 44 degree vapor saturation point with the evaporator up there. So that was a little more than we anticipated. Do keep in mind with flaring, you do have to deburr the copper, so it's always best to try to cut the copper as slowly as you can to minimize the burr you end up with, but you're always going to have one. And deburring it with a reaming tool of some kind, be sure you're not being a little too hasty, adding a little too much muscle to it, especially if you're using the stick type. It's basically just a little blade with a round end that you put inside, and as you work it around, the end kind of use that as a pressure point and move it around. Whomever was doing it was just doing it real fast and worked their way out and made a nice spirally tornado going right out the material that was used for the flare seal itself. So they had us a nice little groove there to leak refrigerant. That Schrader on the outside, those are usually somewhat suspect. If you find one that is hissing when you pull the cap off, say, so went ahead and replaced that Schrader outdoor unit. We did have a lot of oil on it, that flare. It did not look like anybody had tried to deburr it at all. So we went ahead and redid those while we were there. Did our pressure test. After we got that one sealed, it held pressure for it held 100, I think it's 129 pounds by the time I got done with it, but it held that for about 20 minutes. We vacuumed it down and it held our vacuum for about 20 minutes. So at that point we charged it to manufacturer's specifications and got out of there. So we'll be boogieing on to the next one now.